Hi, Mary. I want to say thank you for reaching out to me. I want to know if I have consent to record this interview.
You do have consent to record this interview.
Okay, great. So, can you tell me your full name and how are you related or how do you know Natalie?
My full name is Mary Nunn. I know Natalie via her father. I was married to him for 28 years, and I was her stepmother during that duration. So I've known Natalie since she was 6, and her brother were 8. That's when they came into my life.
Yeah, very young. Okay, so Natalie recently mentioned that my dad had a previous drug addiction. So, can you tell me a little bit about Natalie's father?
Well, when I met Earl in the latter part of 91, he was actually in a rehab or some type of clean and sober type home. Unbeknownst to me, in the beginning stages of our dating, he had hid that from me. And he kept telling me over his various dates, he had a secret to tell me. And I was concerned because that's when, AIDS was really prevalent, right? It had just really came out in society, like it was, people were getting it. And I was like, what in the world is he going to tell me? It was scaring me because it was so serious. And he finally told me that he had this issue with drugs, right? And but that he had been in this clean and sober environment, and he was okay. He had handled it or whatever. And so we started dating, and he would bring the children.
Is Natalie from the Bay? Because she always claims that that's where she's from.
Natalie is actually from a city called San Mateo / Foster City, which is on the peninsula of South Bay Area. It wouldn't be considered, I guess all of it's Bay Area, but that's more of a suburb, an upper middle class suburb. Traditionally, it's all white. Natalie went to parochial school, private school, and all of her classmates and friends were white. I threw her a summer party when she was about 12 years old, and she had probably, 16 to 20 kids that showed up, and all of them were white with a few that might have been Asian. She pretty much had a pretty comfortable life. From my hindsight, she didn't really want for anything, what have you.
That's crazy because she almost like claims to have all this street credit, saying like she's from the Bay and saying I run LA and saying all these things, and people don't know this about her whatsoever.
No, in a lot of ways, I found it hard to relate to her because it was just very different.
So she grew up with a bunch of rich kids and had all white friends, is essentially
very,
what you're
very
saying.
Very well-to-do kids. She went to Mountain View parochial school called St. Francis. The mass of the school is white and funded by rich white parents. I worked at American Airlines for a multitude of years, and I gave both children, Natalie and Ronald, my passcodes to my flying privileges, which meant they could go online and literally book themselves anywhere in the world, first class. And they did.
Yeah, I remember her always bragging about flights and American Airlines and how she spent all this money on first class and basically bragging that she was paying for all these flights on her own. Pay for these tickets, or were you paying for them?
They came out of my paycheck. They weren't full fare.
Yeah.
But they were definitely something. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you're paying for them and she's getting them for free,
I paid for all her tickets.
Yeah.
And, she would fly all the time, and sometimes I would be at my ticket counter at American because I worked first class, and I would see her come in and go down the escalator to the baggage claim and say, dang, my stepdaughter's in town, and I would say to my colleagues, excuse me, I'm just gonna go see her. And I would run down behind her and say, "Oh, you're here?" And she would say, "Oh yeah, I just came in to see my mom and my friends." I said, "Well, it would be nice if you came and saw me sometimes, me and your father. We'd like to lay our eyes upon you too." And she says, "Yeah, I will." But she never really did.
And what's crazy is like she's using your money to get these flights, and she can't even like stop by to even say hey to you.
She didn't even say hi.
Wow, I see her doing that.
She wouldn't even say hi. I had to run after her, and many things like that. And call her and ask her to come, and she would be too busy or say she was bored. Her friends were in Foster City. She didn't want to come, what have you, and whatever. But if it were a vacation that was interesting, Maui, Hawaii, New York, she'd come.
Right,
but
she wants to come when it like only benefits her. So you guys are separated now?
We're divorced. We're divorced. We went through 6 years of divorce, which he divorced me, which was so ironic. But he divorced me as soon as I established a 5-year restraining order against him. And once he realized he would not have any more access to me, nor could he come to my home and harass me or take things from our marital acquired home for himself, which he had done, a multitude of things, cars, leaving me carless for 3 years with no cars, coming in, taking furnishings, taking oil paintings down to his home to reside with 20-year-old hookers younger than his daughter that he had met on Backpage.com. Crank-addicted hookers. I mean, these weren't high-quality call girls. These were like bottom of the bucket. Like they didn't even have their own home, cars, or anything. Most of them used their proceeds to get high. Her mother's white and Puerto Rican, and her father's black. So
okay, that makes more sense. So nobody.
There's no Brazilian.
There's no Brazilian. Okay, because
she's been to Brazil, but there's no Brazilian.
I guess so. When she went to Brazil, she started claiming that she was Brazilian now.
She's been to Brazil. Compliments of me. I invited her on a family holiday. That's how she went to Brazil. But she's not Brazilian.
She's not Brazilian.
And then when she was a little girl, I had my girlfriend give her single braids, like box braids, and then put like little little balls, colored balls on each one on the end. And like when she couldn't wait to get home and have her mother take it down. Like she couldn't go to school with that hairdo. She was really incensed by it. I mean, she put up with it because I wanted my girlfriend to do it. I thought it would be very cute on her, but she couldn't wait for her mother to take that hair down before she started school.
Why? Do you think she was embarrassed because her friends were white?
Because the girls at her school, they weren't wearing their hair like that. But today she does Journey's hair like this, so it's ironic. It's ironic. She didn't really relate to that. And I put all those little gifts for Father's Day up in a room, and I brought her up there, and I said, bring these down for your father, because she didn't bring anything or think of anything, and it's like, and she was like annoyed by it, but it's like I was trying to make it special. You know what I mean? Like I knew she wasn't going to bring anything, so I had the good sense. I wanted to do it so he could feel special. He didn't know it came from me, right?
Wow,
and,
she's always been selfish like that.
But she like annoyed, like I'll do it, I'll get to it. It's just like she wasn't really engaged.
Like it was such a bother for her to carry the presents for free that she got down the stairs for her father.
We normally always had, it didn't matter when Christmas fell, we'd always have Natalie Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. We always broke up the holiday that she was shared, or if her mother worked, we'd have her for the entire holiday. And I typically cooked, and just because of my upbringing, I tend to make festive meals such as, baked macaroni and cheese, collard greens,
soul food.
Different things that would be, I guess, considered, soul food type things. And when she would come in her younger years, she would say, why do I have to eat this black food? Oh, hell no!
Okay, so when Natalie got married, I know a bishop flew in to marry her. Like, how did that whole experience go?
Okay. Well, it was actually my bishop contracted him to go down to LA and marry her on the Bridezilla show. And, he went down there with his full bishop wedding attire, which probably consists of probably like 7 different robes in like 110 heat. He wasn't, compensated in any way. So for them to bring him down there and just, not even like take up a tithe or arrange for a payment for that or take care of his accommodations or whatever else.
They basically just used him and left him.
Typically, yeah.
I mean, she's known to do that now. She's made a lot of makeup artists, hair people upset, and then if she doesn't pay them, she'll say things about them online and tell people not to go to them, so then they won't even want to ask for their money because of what comes with what her response will be. Does Natalie own her home or is she buying her home?
Natalie rents her home. It's ironic because, she claims to make all this money up in the Sacramento area of California. And typically, people in the Bay Area, our view of people that live up there are people that can't cut it down here because it's pricey, in the Bay Area where I live. It's not, you're not going to get a cheap house here. It's very expensive. And most people will go up there because you can get homes to rent for very reasonable low cost. So that's probably was the attraction to bring her up that way.
Wow, that's crazy.
You can look apart, but not have to pay the piper.
Are there any recent incidents that you would say best explains her character?
Natalie's texting the daughter and threatening her. The girl's upset.
But he went to jail for domestic violence.
And so Natalie is, threatening the girl. The girl's very upset. She's just bore a baby a week ago. She's breastfeeding. She's a new mother, first-time mother, young girl. And I can see she's visibly shaken. And I just take the phone and start letting Natalie have it. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's going nowhere. You're not going to, if you're that bad, come move us. But we're not leaving this house. And why are you always on the side of evil? Why are you always choosing evil over good? She just kept threatening and what have you. And then she said something to me, you're just mad because you don't have any kids, because she knows that's a sore spot with me.
Wow. Low blows. She always does low blows.
The girl's other sister, by calling her, that she had just given someone 10 grand to come and put a hit on the house, and they were going to come down and shoot the whole house up with us in it, right? And
with the baby and everything.
With the baby and everything. With
wow.
The brand new, but yet she had no regard for this brand new infant child. They were nervous. I said, look, she's not coming. She's not coming. If she had 10 grand, she would have bought a home. She would have bought a home.
Right.
So if she hasn't done that, she doesn't have 10 grand just laying around. And she don't even have a base like that. But, I wish she didn't, take your good name, Sarah, to the ringer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started admiring you online because I started watching you do things like you redid your stairs, which was amazing. And you redid your yard.
Yeah.
What kind of female takes on those type of labor-intensive projects and then prevail and have a really nice finished product? So I was in awe with you, and I knew you were just cut from a different cloth, and you engaged me. And it's like, she may know Natalie, but she doesn't have any of the qualities or characteristics of Natalie.